This is a stave of yew, Taxus baccata, and I'd like to make from it a warbow. I bought this stave as a half log from Germany. I cut it down with a jigsaw yesterday. It's around about 40mm in width and 35mm to 40mm, it varies in depth. You can see the distinct sap and heartwood. I have a few concerns. I've never made a bow of this draw weight before. I'm not an experienced bowyer at all. In fact, quite the opposite. I've made just 5 bows in my life, that's all. Nothing compares to this though. Nothing with such a lovely piece of yew, and nothing that has the potential to reach such a high draw weight as this stave may do. But whether I can do it, that's another story. Perhaps you'd like to come along with me and see how I get on trying to make this stave into a warbow. It's about 80 inches in overall length. I'd like to make a bow around about 77 inches knock to knock, and I'd like to achieve a draw weight of over 100 pounds at 32 inch, which is about the maximum I think I should be able to draw. The next job I want to do on this bow is to remove the outer bark, this layer which peels off fairly easily. The stave has been seasoned for about 32 months, just under 3 years, so the bark is ready to pop off. I'm using this old and blunt sheath knife to gradually remove the bark on the outside of this yew stave. I want then to round the corners of the bow, the back and the belly. Okay, that's those 2 tasks now complete. The outer bark has been stripped off the entire length of the bow. I've also run a rasp along the edge there to create a fairly straight stave for this intended warbow. Okay, the next stage now, that is to mark the depth of this warbow. That is from the crown to the belly of this piece of wood. I'm a little uncertain about the exact dimensions to rough this stave out to. The depth of the sapwood and the heartwood varies, or appears to vary, all the way along the stave. So I'm not really sure in the centre of the bow if there's enough heartwood, and at the ends of the bow if there's too much sapwood. All a mystery. I think this is the first time in my life I've been scared by a piece of stick. Okay, the scary bit now, I've got to work out the depth that I'm going to rough out to. To do this, or to help me do this, I've marked the centre of this stave, and outwards from this centre line I'll be marking 6-inch marks all the way to the end of the bow, and putting dimensions at each point which I'll rough down to. I'll use a jigsaw, and that's the last time I'll use any power tools on this bow. Well, that's about as far as I dare go now with a power tool. Everything from now on will be by hand tool. I'm using the vernier gauge to check the widths up and down the bow from the centre out to the tips, to try and achieve as even a taper as I possibly can. I'm now working with a spoke shave to work my way along the length of the bow. Okay, that's the end of 10 hours work on this potential warbow. It's taken me all that time to work from a half log to this stave, which is now ready for the next stage, which is to thin down the belly, round the corners and put it on the tiller and see whether I can get it to move. Just to recap then, this is European grown yew, Taxus baccata, the king of all bow woods. And from it I'd like to make a warbow, that is a bow, a longbow that has a draw weight in excess of 100 pounds at a draw length between 30 and 32 inches. Today I've stripped off the outer bark, marked the centre line and worked away from the centre out to the tips with the approximate dimensions of the finished bow. From now on it's refinement and care and slow work, and eventually I'll be able to put it on the tiller and I hope start to bend the bow. This is the first video in a short series. I do hope you join me for the rest, and I do hope that towards the end of those videos I will get this bow into a shootable condition. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.